Hello everyone, I'm Batpan, a bat who doesn't have internet for more than 80 days. In today's video, we're gonna be making a background for our dialogue like Fierce to Fathom in Unity. I know you might say that I already have a video on this, but this video is actually method number 2 and it's just a new way that you guys could use to add background to your dialogues. This video will be put inside a series of videos covering Unity tips and tricks, and also in another series of videos covering functions from the game Fierce to Fathom in Unity. I have published my own retro horror game called Fractured Psyche. It's a psychological horror game. If you guys are into this stuff, I'll be happy if you could actually check it out. The link's in the description of this video. It's available both on Windows and Android. All the files used and created in this video will be available in my GitHub. You can get to it with the link in the description of this video. With all that being said, let's put on the mask and begin. As I said a little in the entrance of the video, this method is actually, I think, the method the actual developer used. It is actually very simple. I have to thank our friend. He just suggested that we use the mark tag, and I actually did test that out. And while I was gonna answer his comment and say that I have tested that out, I got an idea, and it was, why not use two texts? The behind text has a mark and is exactly the same as the forward text, and the forward text just writes on the mark. This was my idea and I have tested it out and it worked. So I said this method would be a lot better. So if you are watching this video again, this is different than the previous video. You could use both of them, but I recommend using this method. The setup is kind of the same thing. We need a canvas. I put it on 1920 on 1080. We have a panel. I made it blue. Yeah, it was like that. No difference. We need a text mesh Pro, so we can right click on the canvas. UI, text mesh Pro here. I add it to my scene. I'll go to this 2D view so I can see my text better on the canvas. I'm gonna give it like, I'm gonna put it like down here, or in the middle is okay. I just want to give it this amount of space, and I'm gonna give it not auto size. You see, when you write, it goes down. I don't want to be on auto size, so when I write, it just comes down. You see, like the actual Fierce to Fathom. We have a text. We're gonna say, for example, this is Batpan, and I'm gonna give it a default font size. Put it on bold. Whatever effects you put on this text has to be put on the forward text. So I'm gonna call this one back text, and this is my final version. Just put it in the center. So this is Batpan. It comes down and stuff. It should start from the left, so it starts typing from the left. So that is every effect I want to put on my text. So that is everything I need. Then I'm gonna make a duplicate out of this. You can hold Control press D or right click and duplicate. I'm gonna name this one forward text. I'm gonna deactivate the forward text right now. So whatever we want to do is we want to do on the back text. So we say this is Batpan. He is actually making this video. So how do we add mark to this? Like the video I made before telling you how to make each of these letters different color. Text Mesh Pro actually allows us to use something called mark, so we can mark our text, and it is very simple. We're gonna say open mark. You see here I'm typing equal to, you gotta give it a color. Right now I don't have a color, so I'm just gonna give it this default value, and this default value is this. If you want to mark a specific point, you gotta end it here. So this part, this section is only colored, but we want the whole sentence to have marks, so we don't need to put anything in the end. So it says mark, and this is the color, and you see it added a little highlight onto the text. But the problem is our text is behind this, and we don't want that. A very simple thing to do would be we could just copy this text and activate our forward text and paste it here. You see right now our text is written on top of the text instead of the behind the text. You might not be able to actually see it, okay? So I'm just gonna make this one a little bit darker so you can see. If I deactivate this, you see the text actually goes behind, and if you activate it, it comes in front. You can add some outline to it or underlay to make it better, so you can actually see that it is in the front. You can give it any color you want. This would be okay for me, and you can add offset to Y and X, add softness or not. So I'm just gonna put it like this. See, it says this is Batpan. Actually, he's actually making this video. If I deactivate this, you see that this these whites are okay if I deactivate it, but you see it goes behind the text. And when I activate it, you see that it comes in front of the text, in front of the mark, sorry, in front of the mark. Inside Freeze to Fathom, the mark is not yellow, it is actually black. We can easily give this mark a color, so we say mark equal to, we can go to our vertex color section, put this one on RGB 0 to 255. I'm gonna go to black. You see that complete black is actually this hexadecimal. You can copy it, Control C, and what you gotta do is you're gonna just change your text back to white and add this one. Be careful, you have to put this hashtag behind it. Now you see it has this color. If the color is blue, it is because we just changed this underlay. If I change back the underlay to black, you see that this is actually a black background to our text, and we can just change if we deactivate the forward text, you see that this is actually visible, that the text is behind the mark. When you activate it, we have two texts. The behind one is the mark and the front one is the without the mark one. So you can actually add alpha to it. If I say 55, let's just say this is a hexadecimal number. The two end numbers that is not shown here are the alpha. If I put 00, nothing is visible. If I put 25, they're a little visible. You can put anything you want, maybe 55, this is 55, or 85, or any value you want, and you just can activate this text. So you see right now we have this background to it, but I'm okay with 100%, so I'm just gonna leave it at, I'm not gonna give it any value, so it automatically gives it the 100. So right now you see I gave it mark, I gave it a color, and then it is gonna write this text for me. Now we have a dialogue with a background. Now let's add that dialogue effect to it, that a typing effect to it. We can put this both of these texts down here so we see how it's gonna get written. So let's go ahead and change it inside the script. So I'm gonna create a new script. I'm gonna call it Freeze to Fathom dialogue background method 02, and inside it we're gonna make a very simple dialogue system, and I'll have to tell you some things, some tips to make it more optimized than the actual dialogue we used in the previous videos. Let's see what references do we need. We need a reference to our back text and forward text. So we're just gonna say public text mesh pro. You see it doesn't give me anything. Text Mesh Pro UGUI, you see. If it doesn't recommend you, no worries, you're just gonna add using TM Pro up here, and after that you can just say Text Mesh Pro UGUI. Then I'm gonna need a subtext, a front text, and a back text. First I'm gonna get a reference to my back text, then I'm gonna write it again. I'm gonna need a forward text. We also need a string. I'm gonna call it holder, which is gonna hold our sentence, which is equal to empty at the start. And we also need a float for type time, which is equal to 0.25f seconds. You can change it anything you want, and that is everything we need. So we want to write the characters one by one, like before. I'm not gonna talk a lot about this dialogue system in this video, but I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know. We need to type it one by one, and we want to wait for some time in between. How can we wait for some time in between writing each character? We're gonna be using something called an enumerator. See, enumerator, I'm gonna call it type dialogue. I'm gonna underline CO so I know this is actually coroutine. This is a thing I do. You can name it whatever you want. So what we want to do is we're gonna first empty our texts before writing the next dialogue. So we say back text.text equal to empty, and also we're gonna be doing it for the forward text. You see, back text and forward text are empty. Then we want to write our sentence. What do we want to write for this dialogue? We want to say string. We have a holder here, so we don't have to reference it again here. So we say holder, which holds our sentence. We're gonna write our sentence here. We're gonna write hello, I'm Batman. This video is fun. Yeah, that is the sentence we have. So the new tip that I was talking about is the previous method we used. we would just say, let me just show you, we would just say subtext.text, for example, backtext.text plus equal to, for example, something. What it would do is, it would each time create a string and give it the new value. So if it was only one S, it would make a string, then add S, for example H in this case, so we're just gonna say H. Then it would come back inside this for each and make another string and add E, because strings are like, let me just give you an example, something that we write on and cannot be changed. For example, a stone. Our ancestors actually wrote on stones, caves, I think. So if you write on a stone, you cannot erase that. And string, in this case, the method we used was like this. So each time we added a character, we would take a new stone and carve on it. But the new method I learned, which is more this method was actually okay for small sentences, but if you're using very long sentences that you want to type, it is better to not use this way, because it allocates some memories, and Unity automatically removes these inside the game if they are too much, and it might introduce some micro stutters. So we could prevent that with a very simple fix, and this fix is called string builder. String builder is like a whiteboard. You can type on it, you can write on it, you can erase it, you can type, you can write on it again, and you can do whatever you want. A string builder is like a whiteboard. So I'm just gonna call it SB. You're just gonna tell it how long it needs to be. So new string builder. So I'm just gonna tell my string builder how much space we need. We need these amount of character spaces. So we're just gonna say holder dot length. So what I did is I told, for example, someone to give me a whiteboard instead of a stone to, carve on. We take a whiteboard and I'm gonna call it SB. I'm gonna call my whiteboard SB. Then I'm gonna say I need a whiteboard that can support these amount of characters. And I give it the length of my sentence. As easy as that. This was the optimized way. It is very easier to use it. It might not be as easy as before, but it is actually more optimized. And these little optimizations are key when you make big games. Continue are the same as before. Character C in holder. So I'm gonna write it first, then I'm gonna explain everything to you guys. So we say SB.append C. We just make one string. I'm gonna call it current string. You can name it whatever you want, which is equal to sp.toString. sp.toString. I'm gonna come back again and explain everything to you guys. So we say forward text.text is the current string, of course. The back text.text is equal to, we're gonna put the dollar behind. We're gonna say mark equal to current string, and again mark. So you return new, wait for seconds, wait for type time, and then come back. Okay, this is a very simple dialog system that we used. So let me explain it from the base. So we are inside this enumerator. We reset our back text and forward text's values. We empty it. We come inside this holder. We write the sentence we want inside our holder. Then we get a whiteboard, a place, so we can put each character inside it. We take a whiteboard. We tell that our whiteboard needs to support this amount of characters, so we give it the holder.length. Then we come this for each. What this for each does is it takes each character and it's gonna call it C, each character inside this holder. So it's gonna take H, E, L, L. It takes one by one. And what it does is we say SB.append C. So what it does is it just says, hey whiteboard, add this C to yourself. What do? Is we add this C, the character we take. For example, for the first time it is H. So we take the H here and we write this H on our whiteboard, which is this SB. And then we wanna tell our string. Then we put this value inside the string and we call it current string. We say sp.toString. As you watched here, our forward text gets the actual text, our back text gets the actual text plus this mark thing that is behind it. So we do the same thing here. We give the forward text the current written. So if it is H, it gets the H, but our back text in this case gets this H in a mark. You see? So what is this dollar here? It allows us, instead of writing, for example, backtext.text equal to, this was how I used it before. So mark something plus current string plus, mark. So what a dollar does is it allows us to put some values inside it. So instead of writing it like this, I just used the dollar and put my value inside the current text and wrote it like this. This was a new tip that I learned, and this was a new tip. Another new tip that I wanted to tell you guys is that you could put this dollar in here and write your text and the values inside the same text. And you're just gonna put it inside this brackets, I think it is called, I'm not sure. So yeah, that is it. And it takes for an amount of time, the time we gave up here, then it goes and gets the next character, which is E, and it does everything it did to H. It's gonna do it again and again until this holder is finished of characters, and then our dialogue would be finished. We have created this. How do we run it? I want to run it at the start, so inside void start I'm gonna run this dialogue. So we say void start. What void start does is it just runs once at the start of the game if the script is active. So we say it, so we're just gonna say start coroutine type dialogue co. As easy as that. And you don't call enumerators like normal voids. You just don't call it like this. It's not gonna give you any errors, but it won't run. You have to run this enumerator like this. Start coroutine, put it inside here. Yeah, that is it. That is everything we might need. We can go to our canvas or our camera, and I'm gonna give my script to my camera. It needs the back text. We give it the back text. Then it needs the front text, and we give it the front text. Right now we empty our values, and we can go ahead and check it out. Before checking it out, let's fix this background. I don't want to give it any texture and make it cover the whole screen. So we can go ahead and check it out. So you see, it is gonna give errors. The reason for it is because I didn't put the hashtag behind the numbers. And I think it should be 6 zeros, and now it's gonna be fixed. You see, it is typing on a black background. You see, it wrote it. You can also make this float, for example, public, and change the speed from outside the script. I didn't do that because I didn't want to talk a lot about this one, because it's not a dialogue system video. We can make it faster, for example, like this. This would be okay. This would be too fast, I guess. You can make it like this. We can again go ahead and check it out. You see, it says, hello, I'm Batpan. This video was fun. And that is how Fierce to Fathom writes it on its own text. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I also have to thank our friend for helping me think of this as a method. A like really helps. You can subscribe to see more contents like this. I'm struggling to get connected to internet to upload videos. As you guys might know or might not know, Iran doesn't have access to internet for more than 80 days now. And this is not a joke. And I cannot talk more on this. If you guys want to tell me anything, you can actually say it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are a very big part of the hope I have of still continuing this journey. Hope all the very best for you guys, and stay safe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.